it even more and refine it even more as you continue to go on into life, basically. So there is two ways we can kind of do this. So there's 6 pillars, right? And you don't really want to just jump into doing, some people like to go balls to the wall. Some people like to just dive straight in and smash out everything. Now, some people require a kind of more step-by-step approach, like more, if you try and do too much at once, you cause too much friction. So if there's 2 paths, A and B. The first path is you're going to do the full stack sprint, basically. That's what it's called, the full stack sprint. And you need 2 to 3 hours. So the first intake of people are going to be sitting with me, 2 to 3 hours, and we're going to map out everything from the 6 pillars of the limitless lifestyle. I'll run through them: mindset, fasting, lifestyle design, nutrition, training, and recovery. So you'd map out all of that, and then you'll crack up. So this is day 0. You'll map out 2 to 3 hours, block it out in your calendar. You're going to map out the next kind of 28 days, and then you're going to go balls to the walls. Now, that's for somebody who probably already got a good handle on their nutrition, their training, and they're ready to just implement some more. They're ready to follow some structure. Now, if you're somebody who's relatively new to training, or, you don't have a very good diet, and, even the thing in terms of like changing your diet is going to cause too much friction, then I would recommend you do the first 3 pillars first. We are going to cover them all. And in this first live session, I'm going to be covering the first 3 in more detail so that you can plug them into your life. So before we get started with the 6 pillars, we're going to do something called the Wheel of Life. And what you want to do, take a pen and piece of paper. I mean, when you've got my app, you would do this all inside the app. And you've got 8 areas generally of life. Most people share these 8 areas of life. So you've got health and fitness, mental and emotional well-being, career and business, finances, relationship, growth and learning, spiritual connection to God, and fun and recreation. And so what you would do, you would write down each area, and then you would mark it out of 1 to 10. Now, that's going to give you a good understanding of where you are in life and maybe where you need to focus your time and energy. So that is the Wheel of Life, first of all. So you can run them in this order, but they also interlink with each other. And so the first one is mindset. So a big part of mindset is identity alignment. And when you start to identify with the man that you are becoming, it makes everything easier in your life. So, when it comes to making a decision about nutrition, when it comes to making a decision, should I go to the gym or not? Whether it's a decision to do whatever it is, if you identify more with the man that you are becoming, that higher version of yourself, it's going to be easier to make those decisions. So we'll get on to identity alignment shortly, because we are going to cover that in this session. But just to give you kind of an understanding of that, because everything does start with the thought. Everything starts with the thought. And so first of all, you've got to make the decision, making the decision to become the limitless version of you, making the decision to live a better life. So why fasting? Fasting has a knock-on effect to every other area of life. It has a positive knock-on effect to every other area of life. I've been doing intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting, for around 15 years now, right? And I've been able to do some I've reached elite levels in strength. I don't know if you have a look at some of my videos, or if you've got my Instagram, you'll see what I've been up to, right? I'm not going to go into detail with that, but it basically fasting creates space in your life. It simplifies life. It frees up time when you're not spending your time eating, 3, 4, 5 or 6 times a day for some people, which I did used to do. You take that time and you can put that into other areas of life. The other thing it does, it increases mental focus, it increases productivity, and it increases energy. And so as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, simplicity, increase energy, increase productivity. Who doesn't want a bit of that? So that is why fasting comes next, because fasting simplifies life and it makes it easier to do the other things. The other thing is fasting becomes before nutrition. It kind of interlinks, but it comes before, because if you get the fasting underhand, if you get a control over when you eat, then it makes it easier to you stop getting cravings. Basically, you stop getting ghrelin spikes, which is your hunger hormone, which it makes it easier to stick to a particular diet. Lifestyle design. Okay, this is basically creating structure in your life, and it is creating a life that designing a life that works for you and not against you. So we'll be covering two different frameworks, and it depends if you follow a structured 9 to 5 routine. If you know, for me, I was a 9 to 5 entrepreneur. I was working full time and I was working on my business in my spare time. And I had to create this framework to enable me to be able to train at a high level, to be able to work on my business, to work 9 to 5 and still live a good life without burning out. And so we'll be covering two frameworks. The other framework is the threes, twos, ones framework. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. You're going to learn that in this session later on. But yeah, lifestyle design is basically designing a life that works for you and not against you. And then we've got nutrition, which nutrition is the building blocks of life. You are made up of every single thing that you put inside yourself. And with the right nutrition, you can amplify so many different areas of life. You increase energy, you increase focus, you increase productivity by getting your nutrition right. You can also improve your physique. And yeah, you want to build, I always explain it like this, is if you were going to build a house, would you build it with low quality low quality materials, or would you build it with high quality materials? The same goes for you. Okay, look at your body as a house. It's your home, right? Look after it. The thing is, give your body good nutrition, give it the good building blocks of life, and it will look after you. Training is the amplifier. Training, it improves your health and fitness. You build muscle, you look good, strong, confident. Like, training is an amplifier, and it's basically, your body is like a statement. When you walk into a room, right? Like, when you walk into a room, and if you're fit and strong, people look at you with respect, right? And that has a knock-on effect to every other area of life. If you're fit, strong, confident, how are you going to show up at home? How are you going to show up in your business? So again, training, big part of the limitless lifestyle. But again, you've got to get your foundation set, got to get your nutrition and your fasting sorted before you go balls to the wall with your training. I mean, everybody should be implementing some kind of recovery into their lifestyle. Recovery is the reset. The recovery is what allows us as high performers to continue performing at a high level. Now, what I have learned this through many of years of burnout, that I had to start to schedule in specific recovery blocks into my lifestyle. And yeah, I'll go into that a little bit more detail. But again, if you're just balls to the walls all the time, you're trying to smash it in every single area, and you're not regulating your nervous system, you're not giving your body a break, and you're not giving your mind a break, you're not going to be able to function as high as you can function if you do these things. So I'll go into recovery obviously later, but that is a kind of overview of the 6 pillars